This recording is published by Langogh, 2025. This recording is copyright. This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. You will hear a conversation between two people. You will be asked to answer questions based on the conversation. You will have 30 seconds to read the questions before the recording begins. Now listen carefully and answer questions.
Good afternoon, Property Solutions Letting Agency. This is Sarah speaking. How may I help you today?
Hello Sarah, my name is David Thompson. I'm looking for a flat to rent in the city centre area. I saw your advertisement online and thought I'd give you a call to see what's available.
Lovely to hear from you, David. We actually have several properties available at the moment. Before I show you what we've got, could you tell me a bit about what you're looking for? For instance, how many bedrooms do you need?
Well, I'm moving here for work, and I'd like something with at least 2 bedrooms. One for myself and one that I can use as a home office since I'll be working from home occasionally.
That makes perfect sense. A lot of our clients are looking for that extra space nowadays. What about your budget? What sort of monthly rent are you comfortable paying?
I'm hoping to keep it under £1,000 per month if possible. I know city centre properties can be expensive, but I'm trying to be sensible with my finances.
That's a reasonable budget for this area. Let me pull up our current listings. Actually, I have a property that might be perfect for you. It's a 2-bedroom flat on Richmond Street, number 45 to be precise. It's recently been refurbished, and is in excellent condition.
Richmond Street. I'm not too familiar with that area. Is it close to public transport? I don't have a car, so I'll need to commute by train or bus.
Yes, the location is quite convenient actually. The property is about a 12-minute walk from Riverside Station, which has direct connections to the business district. There are also several bus routes that run along Richmond Street itself.
That sounds manageable. 12 minutes is a comfortable walking distance. What about the rent for this property? Does it fit within my budget?
You're in luck. The monthly rent is £950, which is just under your maximum. This includes water rates as well, though you would need to set up your own accounts for electricity, gas, and internet.
£950 including water is quite reasonable. Can you tell me more about the flat itself? What's the layout like?
Certainly. As I mentioned, it has 2 bedrooms. The main bedroom is quite spacious with built-in wardrobes, and the second bedroom would work perfectly as your home office. There's an open-plan living room and kitchen area, which is very modern with brand new appliances.
That sounds ideal. What about bathroom facilities? Is there just one bathroom or are there more?
There's one full bathroom with a shower over the bath, toilet, and sink. It was completely renovated about 6 months ago, so everything is new and in pristine condition. The tiles and fixtures are all contemporary style.
Excellent. Is the property furnished or unfurnished? I'm moving from quite far away, so a furnished place would be much easier for me.
I'm afraid it's unfurnished, but that also means you can furnish it exactly how you want. However, the kitchen does come with all the major appliances, fridge, freezer, washing machine, and oven, so you wouldn't need to worry about those.
I see. That's not too bad then. The kitchen appliances are the expensive items anyway. What about heating? I want to make sure I won't freeze during winter.
The flat has central heating throughout, and it's been recently serviced. There are also double-glazed windows, which really help with insulation and keeping your heating bills down.
That's reassuring. Now, regarding the tenancy, what sort of deposit would I need to pay up front? I know deposits can vary quite a bit.
For this property, we require a deposit of 1.5 months' rent, which comes to £1,425. This would be protected in a government-approved tenancy deposit scheme, and you get it back at the end of your tenancy, assuming there's no damage to the property.
£1,425 for the deposit, understood. That seems standard. What about the minimum tenancy period? Am I tied in for a certain length of time?
The landlord is looking for a minimum 12-month contract initially. After that, you could either renew for another fixed term or move to a rolling monthly contract, depending on what suits you both.
A year sounds fine. I'm planning to be in the area for at least 2 years, so that's not a problem. When would the property be available to move into?
The current tenants are moving out at the end of this month, so it would be available from the 1st of next month. We'd need to do a professional clean and safety checks, but it should be ready by then.
That timing works perfectly for me actually. My new job starts in about 5 weeks, so I'd have time to get settled in. Is it possible to arrange a viewing?
Absolutely. I definitely recommend viewing the property before making any decisions. When would be convenient for you? I have availability tomorrow afternoon or any time the day after.
Tomorrow afternoon would work well for me. What time would suit you?
Shall we say 2:30 p.m.? I'll meet you outside the property at 45 Richmond Street. It's easy to find, there's a small convenience store on the corner, and the building is just 2 doors down.
Perfect, I'll make a note of that. Is there anything I should bring with me to the viewing?
Just yourself is fine for the viewing. If you decide you'd like to proceed with an application afterwards, I can give you a list of documents we'll need, but there's no need to bring anything tomorrow.
That's straightforward enough. Thank you for all the information, Sarah. I'm looking forward to seeing the property tomorrow.
You're very welcome, David. I'll send you a confirmation text with the address and my mobile number in case you need to reach me.
You will have 30 seconds to read the questions before the recording begins. Now listen carefully and answer questions. Hello Sarah, it's David Thompson again. I've been thinking about the flat since we spoke yesterday, and I have a few more questions if you don't mind.
Of course, David. I'm glad you're still interested. Fire away with your questions. What would you like to know?
Well, I forgot to ask about parking yesterday. I mentioned I don't have a car at the moment, but I'm considering buying one in the future. Is there parking available at the property?
That's a good question. The building doesn't have a private car park, but there's street parking available right outside. You would need to get a residence parking permit from the council, but that's quite affordable.
Street parking then. That should be fine. How much does the residence permit typically cost?
I believe it's around £80 per year for the first vehicle, though you'd need to check with the local council for the exact current price. It's definitely much cheaper than renting a private parking space.
That's very reasonable. Another thing I wanted to ask about, are there any communal facilities in the building? Like a shared garden or anything like that?
Yes, actually. The building has a laundry room on the ground floor with coin-operated washing machines and dryers. This is really handy even though your flat has its own washing machine, in case you ever need to wash larger items or if your machine is being repaired.
A laundry room on the ground floor, that's useful to know. What about outdoor space? Is there any sort of garden or courtyard?
There's a small shared courtyard at the back of the building. It's not huge, but it's a nice space to sit outside in good weather. Some residents have put out garden furniture there. It's maintained by a management company.
That sounds pleasant. Now, I should probably ask about council tax. Do you know which band the property falls into?
Yes, the flat is in council tax band C. That's fairly typical for a two-bedroom property in this area. The exact amount you pay depends on the council's current rates and whether you're eligible for any discounts.
Band C, okay. I'll look up the current rates online. I'm also curious about the neighborhood itself. What are the previous tenants' reasons for leaving? Was there any problem with the area?
Not at all. The previous tenants actually lived there for 3 years and really loved the flat. They're only moving because they're relocating abroad for work. They've been excellent tenants and the landlord was sorry to see them go.
3 years is quite a long time, so that's definitely a good sign. It shows the flat and area must be decent. What about noise levels? Is Richmond Street a busy road?
It's a residential street, so it's generally quite quiet, especially compared to the main roads. There's some traffic during rush hour, but nothing excessive. The double glazing helps keep noise out as well.
That's reassuring. I work irregular hours sometimes, so I need to be able to sleep during the day occasionally. Are there any restrictions I should know about? Like having guests stay or anything?
There are no restrictions on having guests. You're free to have visitors stay as long as you like. The only thing the landlord asks is that you don't sublet the property or take in a permanent lodger without permission.
That's perfectly reasonable. I wouldn't want to sublet anyway. Oh, I just thought of something else. I have a cat. Are pets allowed in the property?
Let me check the tenancy terms for you. Yes, the landlord does allow cats. However, dogs aren't permitted, I'm afraid. So your cat would be absolutely fine.
Excellent news. My cat is very important to me, so I'm glad he can come with me. The policy allows cats only then, not dogs.
That's correct. The landlord has had good experiences with cat owners in the past. They just ask that any pet damage is reported and repaired, but that would come out of the deposit anyway.
Understood. My cat is well behaved and uses a scratching post, so there shouldn't be any issues. What about broadband? Is the building connected to fiber internet?
Yes, the building has fiber broadband available from several providers. The previous tenants mentioned the internet speed was excellent, which is important if you're working from home.
Perfect. Good internet is essential for me. Now, about the application process, if I decide to go ahead after the viewing, how long does it typically take to move in?
Once you submit your application with all the necessary documents, it usually takes about 7 to 10 days. We need to run credit checks and get references from your current or previous landlord and your employer.
7 to 10 days is fine. I'm currently renting, so I can get a reference from my landlord. What documents would I need to provide exactly?
You'll need proof of identity, like a passport or driving license, proof of your current address, bank statements from the last 3 months, proof of employment and income, and details for your references.
I should have all of those readily available. This has been really helpful, Sarah. I'm even more interested in the property now. I'll definitely see you tomorrow at 2:30.
Wonderful. I think you'll really like it when you see it in person. The photos don't quite do it justice. Do you have any other questions, or is that everything for now?
I think that covers everything I wanted to know. Thank you so much for being so patient with all my questions.
Not at all, that's what I'm here for. It's important you have all the information you need. I'll see you tomorrow at the property.
Looking forward to it. Have a good evening, Sarah.
You too, David. Bye for now.
This recording is published by Langogh, 2025. This recording is copyright. This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. You will hear a man or woman speaking to a group of people. You will be asked to answer questions based on the recording. You will have 30 seconds to read the questions before the recording begins. Now listen carefully and answer questions.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Riverside Community Centre. My name is Sarah, and I'll be your guide today as we explore our newly renovated facility. We're absolutely thrilled to have you here, and I'm excited to show you everything we have to offer. The centre has been serving the local community for over 30 years, but following our recent £2 million renovation, we've expanded our services considerably and updated many of our facilities to meet the needs of our growing community. Before we begin our tour, let me give you some important information about our opening hours. The main building is open 7 days a week, which is quite unusual for community centres in this area. Monday through Friday, we open our doors at 7 in the morning and close at 10 in the evening. This extended schedule allows working professionals to access our facilities before and after their work hours. On weekends, we operate slightly different hours. We open at 8:30 on Saturday mornings and close at 9 in the evening, while on Sundays, we're open from 9 in the morning until 8 in the evening. Our cafe, however, maintains different operating hours, opening at 8 each morning and closing at 6 in the evening throughout the week. Now, let me tell you about our membership options, which offer excellent value for money. We have 3 main categories of membership. Our standard adult membership costs just £45 per year and provides access to most facilities including the gym, swimming pool, and all classes. For families, we offer a special package at £75 annually, which covers 2 adults and up to 3 children under 16. This represents significant savings compared to individual memberships. We also have a concession rate of £25 per year for students, seniors over 65, and individuals receiving unemployment benefits. All memberships include free Wi-Fi access throughout the building, a 10% discount at our cafe, and priority booking for special events. One of the questions I'm frequently asked is about parking facilities. I'm pleased to tell you that we have a large car park at the rear of the building with spaces for 120 vehicles. Parking is completely free for members, but visitors need to pay £2 per hour. However, if you attend a class or use the cafe, you can get your parking validated, which gives you 2 hours of free parking. We also have excellent public transport links, The number 17 and 42 buses stop directly outside, and Riverside Station is only a 10-minute walk away. Let me highlight some of our key facilities. Our fitness suite is equipped with state-of-the-art equipment including 30 treadmills, rowing machines, and weight training apparatus. We employ 4 qualified fitness instructors who are available throughout the day to provide guidance and create personalized training programs. The swimming pool is 6 lanes and 25 meters in length, maintained at a comfortable 28 degrees Celsius. We offer swimming lessons for all ages, from toddlers to adults who've never learned to swim. Our library section houses over 15,000 books, and we've recently introduced a digital lending service where members can borrow e-books and audiobooks. The children's area has been specifically designed to be bright and engaging, with interactive displays and comfortable reading corners. We host storytime sessions every Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock, which have become incredibly popular with local families. The community center also features several multi-purpose rooms that can be hired for private functions. The largest room, the Hamilton Suite, can accommodate up to 200 people and is perfect for weddings, conferences, or community gatherings. We have a commercial-grade kitchen attached to this space, making it ideal for catered events. Smaller meeting rooms are available from £15 per hour for members and £25 for non-members. Now, I'd like to tell you about some exciting upcoming events we have planned. Next month, we're launching our annual Summer Festival, which will run throughout August. This includes a diverse program of activities suitable for all ages. We'll be hosting outdoor cinema nights every Friday evening, starting at 8:30 when it gets dark. These screenings are free for members and £5 for non-members. We're showing a mixture of classic films and recent releases. In terms of classes and activities, we offer an extensive timetable. Our yoga classes are particularly popular and run every morning at 6:30 and evening at 7 o'clock. We've recently introduced Pilates sessions on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. For those interested in arts and crafts, our pottery workshop operates on Wednesday evenings, and we have painting classes on Saturday mornings. All equipment is provided, and the classes are included in your membership fee. For our younger community members, we run several programs during school holidays. Our Kids Activity Club operates from 9 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon and includes sports, arts and crafts, and educational activities. The cost is £20 per day, with discounts available for booking multiple days. We also offer specialized workshops during holidays, such as our upcoming photography course for teenagers, which teaches both technical skills and creative composition. One facility I must mention is our computer suite, which has 20 workstations with the latest software. We run free digital literacy courses for seniors who want to improve their computer skills, and these have been tremendously successful. Sessions are held every Monday and Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. We also provide one-to-one support for people who need help with specific tasks like online banking or video calling family members abroad. The center is also home to various community groups and clubs. Our chess club meets every Tuesday evening, and we have a gardening society that meets on the first Saturday of each month. These groups are free to join for members and provide wonderful opportunities to meet people with similar interests. We're always open to starting new groups if there's sufficient interest, so if you have an idea for a club, please speak to our community coordinator. Before we start our walking tour, I should mention our accessibility features. The entire building is wheelchair accessible, with ramps and lifts to all floors. We have accessible toilets on every level, and our swimming pool has a hydraulic lift. All our public announcements are displayed on visual screens as well as being broadcast through speakers, ensuring everyone can access important information. So that's an overview of what Riverside Community Center offers. As we walk around today, please feel free to ask any questions. We'll be visiting each area I've mentioned, and you'll have the opportunity to see our facilities in action. Thank you for your attention, and let's begin our tour.
This recording is published by Langogh, 2025. This recording is copyright. This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. You will hear a conversation between two or more people. You will be asked to answer questions based on the conversation. You will have 30 seconds to read the questions before the recording begins. Now listen carefully and answer questions.
Good afternoon, Rachel and Marcus. Today we'll discuss your research project on urban sustainability strategies. Urban sustainability requires balancing environmental, economic, and social factors. It's not just about environmental protection. Your objective is evaluating green infrastructure effectiveness in urban areas. How are you approaching this complex topic?
Good afternoon, Professor Chen. We've been analyzing various green infrastructure models, but navigating conflicting interests among stakeholder groups has proven challenging. Different communities have vastly different priorities, and we're struggling to find common ground.
Indeed. Our research focuses on evaluating effectiveness, but we need better strategies for data collection. We're considering multiple approaches, including comparative analysis of existing green infrastructure projects across different urban contexts.
Green infrastructure offers significant benefits, enhanced urban biodiversity and ecosystem services, plus improved stormwater management and flood mitigation. These advantages make it crucial for sustainable urban development. What methods are you considering for community engagement?
I propose conducting structured surveys and focus group sessions. This combination would allow us to gather quantitative data while also capturing nuanced community perspectives and lived experiences with existing green spaces.
That's practical. Municipal authorities provide critical policy frameworks and implementation resources, so we should interview urban planners and environmental officers to understand regulatory constraints and opportunities for intervention.
Excellent thinking. When analyzing project feasibility, examine both short-term costs and long-term sustainability benefits. This comprehensive approach reveals the true value proposition. Have you considered the financial dimensions thoroughly?
We're developing a detailed cost-benefit analysis framework. Obtaining adequate financial resources and investment remains a major challenge, as green infrastructure requires substantial upfront capital despite long-term savings and environmental returns.
Precisely. Reconciling competing priorities among diverse stakeholders complicates funding negotiations. Residential communities want aesthetic improvements, businesses seek economic returns, and environmental groups prioritize ecological outcomes.
These tensions are inherent to sustainability projects. Your data collection strategy should incorporate multiple stakeholder perspectives. What specific green infrastructure types will you examine?
We're focusing on green roofs, urban forests, biosols, and permeable pavements. Each serves different functions: temperature regulation, air quality improvement, water management, and habitat creation. We'll assess their relative effectiveness in diverse urban settings.
We'll also examine successful international case studies from Singapore, Copenhagen, and Portland. These cities have implemented comprehensive green infrastructure networks that demonstrate measurable environmental and social benefits over extended timeframes.
International comparisons provide valuable insights, but ensure you contextualize findings within local constraints. Climate conditions, regulatory environments, and cultural factors significantly influence implementation success. How will you structure your data analysis?
We're employing mixed methods analysis, statistical evaluation of environmental metrics like reduced urban heat island effects and improved air quality, combined with qualitative assessment of community satisfaction and behavioral changes.
I'm developing a comparative matrix that maps infrastructure types against key performance indicators, cost effectiveness, maintenance requirements, ecological impact, social acceptance, and scalability potential across different urban densities.
That's methodologically sound. When presenting your findings, emphasize both quantitative evidence and qualitative narratives. Policymakers need compelling data, but community stories often drive political will. What's your timeline for fieldwork?
We're allocating 3 weeks for surveys and focus groups, followed by 2 weeks for municipal interviews. This schedule allows us to gather comprehensive data while maintaining momentum for analysis and report writing.
Concurrently, I'll complete the international case study analysis and develop the comparative framework. We'll integrate these streams during the synthesis phase to generate actionable recommendations.
Efficient planning. Remember that green infrastructure implementation faces technical challenges beyond funding and stakeholder coordination. Maintenance capacity, horticultural expertise, and long-term management commitment are critical success factors often overlooked in initial planning.
We'll incorporate maintenance cost projections into our feasibility analysis. Many projects fail because municipalities underestimate ongoing care requirements for living systems.
I'm also investigating innovative financing mechanisms, green bonds, public-private partnerships, and community investment models that distribute costs while building stakeholder ownership.
Those financial innovations are increasingly important. How will you address the equity dimensions of green infrastructure? Distribution of environmental benefits across socioeconomic groups is a critical justice concern.
We're mapping existing green infrastructure against demographic data to identify disparities. Low-income neighborhoods often lack adequate green space, exacerbating environmental health inequities and limiting community resilience.
Our recommendations will prioritize equitable distribution strategies, ensuring that sustainability investments benefit all communities rather than concentrating advantages in affluent areas, avoiding so-called green gentrification.
That's socially responsible research. Your final report should include implementation roadmaps with phased approaches. Municipalities need practical guidance for transitioning from conventional to green infrastructure systems.
We'll develop a tiered implementation framework, pilot projects for demonstrating feasibility, followed by scaled expansion based on documented success. This reduces political risk while building technical capacity.
I'll include performance monitoring protocols, so cities can track outcomes and adjust strategies. Adaptive management is essential given climate uncertainty and evolving urban conditions.
Excellent. Climate resilience should be central to your analysis. Green infrastructure provides adaptation benefits, flood control, heat mitigation, drought resistance, that become increasingly valuable as extreme weather intensifies.
We're examining how different infrastructure types perform under climate stress scenarios. Some solutions prove more resilient than others, and our recommendations will reflect these differential capacities.
I'm also researching nature-based solutions that combine traditional engineering with ecological principles, hybrid approaches that maximize both functionality and environmental benefits while remaining cost competitive.
Those integrated approaches represent the future of urban planning. Let's schedule our next meeting for 3 weeks to review your preliminary findings. Come prepared with initial survey data and case study analyses.
I'll compile survey results and focus group transcripts with preliminary thematic analysis identifying key community concerns and priorities regarding green infrastructure development.
I'll present the completed case study comparison matrix with performance metrics and cost data, plus draft sections analyzing stakeholder coordination mechanisms and policy recommendations for municipal adoption. This recording is published by Langogh, 2025. This recording is copyright. This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. You will hear a man or woman speaking to a group of people. You will be asked to answer questions based on the recording. You will have 30 seconds to read the questions before the recording begins. Now listen carefully and answer questions.
Good morning, everyone. Today's lecture focuses on one of the most pressing environmental challenges of our time, climate change and its profound effects on ecosystems worldwide. Over the next several minutes, we'll explore the fundamental causes of climate change, examine its wide-ranging impacts on natural systems, review recent research findings, and discuss potential solutions for achieving environmental sustainability. Let's begin by understanding the primary drivers behind this global phenomenon. The scientific consensus is clear: human activities have significantly altered Earth's climate system. The most critical factor is the dramatic increase in atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution in the mid-18th century, carbon dioxide levels have risen from approximately 280 parts per million to over 415 parts per million today. This represents an increase of nearly 50%, and the rate of accumulation continues to accelerate. Carbon dioxide is what we call a greenhouse gas, meaning it traps heat in the atmosphere, preventing it from escaping back into space. While this greenhouse effect is natural and necessary for life on Earth, the enhanced greenhouse effect caused by excess carbon dioxide is driving unprecedented warming. Another significant contributor to climate change is deforestation, particularly in tropical regions. Tropical rainforests, such as the Amazon, Congo Basin, and Southeast Asian forests, act as massive carbon sinks, absorbing billions of tons of carbon dioxide annually through photosynthesis. When these forests are cleared for agriculture, logging, or urban development, not only is this carbon-absorbing capacity lost, but the carbon stored in trees is released back into the atmosphere. It's estimated that deforestation accounts for roughly 10 to 15% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Furthermore, industrial emissions from fossil fuel combustion remain the largest source of greenhouse gases. Coal-fired power plants, petroleum-based transportation, and natural gas heating systems all release substantial quantities of carbon dioxide and other pollutants. Despite growing awareness and technological advances in clean energy, fossil fuels still provide approximately 80% of global energy consumption. Now, let's turn our attention to how these changes are affecting ecosystems around the world. One of the most visible impacts is the disruption of species migration patterns. Many animals, particularly birds, fish, and insects, rely on seasonal temperature cues to trigger migration. As temperatures shift and seasons become less predictable, these species are arriving at breeding or feeding grounds at the wrong times, often when food sources are not yet available or have already been depleted. This temporal mismatch can lead to population declines and, in severe cases, local extinctions. For example, studies of Arctic breeding birds have shown that many species are arriving at their nesting sites too late to take advantage of the peak insect abundance that their chicks depend on for survival. The polar regions are experiencing some of the most dramatic changes. The accelerated melting of polar ice caps is perhaps the most iconic symbol of climate change. Arctic sea ice has declined by approximately 13% per decade since satellite monitoring began in 1979. This loss of ice affects not only polar bears, seals, and walruses that depend on ice platforms for hunting and resting, but also has global implications for sea level rise and ocean circulation patterns. In Antarctica, Massive ice shelves are breaking apart, and glaciers are retreating at rates that have alarmed scientists worldwide. The Greenland ice sheet is losing an estimated 280 billion tons of ice annually, contributing significantly to rising sea levels. Marine ecosystems face their own unique set of challenges, particularly ocean acidification. When carbon dioxide dissolves in seawater, it forms carbonic acid, which lowers the pH of the ocean. Since the Industrial Revolution, ocean pH has decreased by approximately 0.1 units, which represents a 30% increase in acidity. This may sound small, but it has profound effects on marine organisms, especially those that build shells or skeletons from calcium carbonate, such as corals, mollusks, and certain plankton species. Ocean acidification makes it more difficult for these organisms to form and maintain their calcium carbonate structures, threatening the foundation of marine food webs. Coral reefs, often called the rainforests of the sea, are particularly vulnerable. Rising water temperatures cause coral bleaching, where corals expel their symbiotic algae and lose their color and primary food source. If conditions don't improve quickly, bleached corals die. We've witnessed mass bleaching events on the Great Barrier Reef in recent years, with some areas experiencing mortality rates exceeding 50%. Recent research has provided increasingly detailed insights into these changes. Global temperature records show that Earth's average surface temperature has increased by approximately 1.2 degrees Celsius since pre-industrial times. While this might seem modest, it represents an enormous amount of added energy in the climate system. 9 of the 10 warmest years on record have occurred since 2010, demonstrating the acceleration of warming. Regional variations are significant, with Arctic regions warming at roughly twice the global average rate, a phenomenon known as Arctic amplification. Biodiversity is declining at unprecedented rates in affected regions. A comprehensive study published in the journal Nature found that climate change has contributed to local extinctions in nearly half of the species studied, with some regions losing up to 50% of their biological diversity. This decline in biodiversity has cascading effects throughout ecosystems, reducing their resilience and ability to provide essential services such as pollination, water purification, and carbon storage. Ecosystems are complex, interconnected systems, and the loss of even a few key species can trigger widespread disruptions. So, what can be done to address these challenges? The transition to renewable energy sources is fundamental to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Solar, wind, hydroelectric, and geothermal energy technologies have advanced dramatically in recent decades, becoming increasingly cost-competitive with fossil fuels. In many regions, renewable energy is now the cheapest form of new electricity generation. Governments, businesses, and individuals must accelerate the adoption of these clean energy technologies to reduce our carbon footprint. This transition also offers economic opportunities, creating millions of jobs in manufacturing, installation, and maintenance of renewable energy infrastructure. Carbon capture and storage technologies represent another promising avenue for mitigation. These technologies involve capturing carbon dioxide emissions from power plants and industrial facilities before they enter the atmosphere, then transporting and storing the CO2 underground in geological formations. While still in relatively early stages of deployment, carbon capture programs could play a significant role in reducing emissions from sectors that are difficult to decarbonize, such as cement and steel production. Some scientists are also exploring direct air capture technologies that remove carbon dioxide directly from the atmosphere, though these remain expensive and energy-intensive. Nature-based solutions, such as reforestation, wetland restoration, and sustainable land management, offer multiple benefits. Not only do these approaches sequester carbon, but they also restore habitat for wildlife, improve water quality, protect against flooding and erosion, and support local communities. Protecting existing forests, particularly old-growth forests that store vast amounts of carbon, is equally important. Indigenous communities, who have served as stewards of many of the world's most biodiverse regions for generations, must be supported and empowered in these conservation efforts. International cooperation is essential for addressing a truly global problem. The Paris Agreement, adopted in 2015, represents a landmark achievement in international climate policy, with nearly every country committing to reduce emissions and limit global temperature increase to well below 2 degrees Celsius, with efforts to limit it to 1.5 degrees. However, current commitments fall short of what's needed to achieve these targets. Strengthening and implementing these commitments requires political will, financial resources, technological innovation, and public support. Individual actions also matter. While systemic change is necessary, the collective impact of billions of individual choices regarding consumption, transportation, diet, and energy use can be substantial. Reducing meat consumption, using public transportation or electric vehicles, minimizing air travel, supporting sustainable businesses, and advocating for climate policies all contribute to the solution. Education and awareness are crucial for building the social momentum needed for transformative change. In conclusion, climate change poses an existential threat to ecosystems and human societies alike, but we possess the knowledge, technology, and resources to address it. What we need now is the collective will to act decisively and rapidly. The next decade is critical. The choices we make today will determine whether we can limit warming to manageable levels or face increasingly severe and irreversible impacts. As future environmental scientists, policymakers, and informed citizens, you have a vital role to play in shaping a sustainable future. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to your questions and our discussion.
Visit langogh.com to view the answers to these questions or to access more tests.